Hi, I'm Mr. Kangas, and today we are going to talk about Chapter 3, Section 6, Writing Two-Step Equations. Just as a refresher on the terminology, if you see the word plus, sum, total, or more than, it implies addition. If you see difference, it implies subtraction. If you see less than, it also implies subtraction, but you need to be conscious of the fact that, for example, if you see 8 less than 10, it actually means 10 minus 8. So you have to flip-flop the numbers. So if you see 8 less than 10, your instinct is to write 8 minus 10, but with less than, you have to flip them. 8 less than 10 actually means 10 minus 8. And that's the only term or vocabulary word where that will happen. So difference and less than implies subtraction, but less than requires you to flip the order of the numbers. As for multiplication, you'll see the word times, you'll see multiply, and you'll see product. You also might see twice, which means 2 times. So you might see like twice a number. Okay, you might read that. It might say something like twice a number or twice the number, and that is implying 2 times a number. And then a number is implying a variable, so n, x, a, b, whatever letter you want to choose. So if you see the term or words a number, that is implying a variable. So twice a number would be 2 times a number, or 2n, or 2a, 2b, whatever variable you want, doesn't make a difference. Division is typically represented by the words divide, divided, quotient, somewhere along those lines. So if we take a look at the sentence on the board, it's actually quite lengthy. This is a pretty big equation. You really want to make sure you take it slow, piece by piece, and make sure you're understanding each piece. So for example, the first piece we want to look at is 8 times a number. So we have 8. We know it's being multiplied by a number. A number implies a variable. Times implies multiplication. So 8 times a variable. So 8 times a number, 8n, plus 6 less than. The second I see less than, my brain's telling me, okay, let's pause. We need to read a little further, because I know with less than I have to flip the order of the numbers. So I know I'm going to be subtracting something, okay? And I know I'm going to be subtracting 6 from something. So I have plus 6 less than twice the number. So twice the number, since it says the number, it's implying the same number that 8 was multiplied in the beginning. So let's go back and read that one more time, just so we can kind of, now that we have that understanding, hopefully it makes a little more sense. 8 times a number, 8n, plus 6 less than twice the number. So the number, again, is referring to the a number that was mentioned up here. Okay, so twice the number. Okay, so 8 times a number, 8n, plus 6 less than twice the number. So here's twice the number, less 6, or minus 6. Okay, again, the order was flipped. Twice the number comes first, 6 comes second. Is. This is a word we haven't touched upon yet. Is means equals. So is 34. So this is a rather lengthy one. Most of the sentences you will be interpreting in this section will be smaller, shorter, easier to comprehend. This is pretty complicated as far as the sentences go. But if you can understand this, you should be all set. Again, it's just about taking your time, understanding the terminology. There's a lot of terminology or vocabulary that you need to understand to make sense of this stuff. Okay. So normally you're not going to see sentences like that in that manner. The times that you're going to be utilizing this skill of interpreting words into math are more in a word problem, real life kind of situation. So for example, there's a word problem here I'm going to copy down. We'll talk about how this skill can come in handy. It says, Julius sold twice as many computers. So Julius sold twice as many computers as Sam. Total they sold 78 computers. And the question is, how many computers did Julius sell? So for some of us, we may approach this problem with more of a guess and check method. We may do some math with some numbers on the paper and kind of go through a process of elimination. But there is an algebraic way to approach this problem that makes it very simple and very quick and easy to solve. You just have to read the information they gave you slowly to make sure you're comprehending it correctly. Okay? They said Julius sold twice as many computers as Sam. So to represent Julius, I'm going to write down the 2 for the twice as many. And then since Julius sold twice as many as Sam, I'm going to do 2s, which means 2 times Sam. Okay? So it's going to be really important to understand that the 2s is Julius. That's how many computers Julius sold. So I want to know total. I want to know in all how many computers did Julius sell. To figure that out, I have to take a look at the rest of the information they told me. Total, they sold 78 computers. So that means if you take the amount Julius sold and the amount Sam sold, it totals or equals 78. So here I have the amount Julius sold. If I add that to the amount Sam sold, okay, because remember Julius was twice the amount that Sam sold plus the amount that Sam sold. That's how you read that. It should equal 78. So the S represents Sam. The 2S represents Julius. When you add them together, you should get a total of 78 computers. So this is basically a two-step equation. Should be pretty simple to solve. 2s plus 1s gets you 3s. I want to get s alone, so I have 3 times s equals 78. If I want to know what s equals, I have to get rid of that 3, which is being multiplied by s. So I'm going to get rid of a 3 that's being multiplied. I will divide both sides by 3. So on the left side I get s, and on the right side I get 1026. So I know my variable s is equal to 26. Now my variable s represents the number of computers Sam sold. The question that was asked was how many did Julius sell? So the s is not my answer. always important. Keep in mind the question being asked. It's very common for people to stop right here at this point in the problem and say they are done, because we're used to getting to the end of an equation, getting an answer to an equation and being done. The question asked, how many computers did Julius sell? We figured out how many Sam sold. We know Julius sold twice as many as Sam. So at this point we would need to plug in the 26 for S. We'd have to do 2 times 26, which would get us an answer of 52 computers that Julius sold. And that is it on this question. Again, if you have any feedback, please email me. Let me know what it is I could do differently, what confused you, and I will try to improve upon these videos.